Liverpool are making it a habit of dominating games of football against Manchester United, and it was exactly the same in the most recent encounter where it was Man United 0, Liverpool 3 at Old Trafford. And perhaps you didn't catch the game and you were looking at the stats after the fact, and you might have had the impression that it was, a bit of a close game. Man United were in it for large portions of it. However, I think you'd be completely wrong in saying that, because I think Liverpool absolutely dominated this game despite what the stats say. Yes, Man United may have had a little bit more of the possession. Yes, their XG was still alright, 1.36 compared to Liverpool's 1.79. And you could even look at the total shots and say they only had a couple less than Liverpool, 8 versus 11. However, they don't tell the whole picture, because in my opinion, Liverpool were all over them. And it's quite hard to actually analyse this game, because you want to, on one hand, credit Liverpool, but it's hard to do that without also criticising Man United. And it's hard to criticise Man United without also complimenting Liverpool, because I think it was very much chalk and cheese. But what I do want to give Man United credit for is the first opening 10 to 15 minutes of the game. I actually thought they were the better side, they were on top a bit more, had the momentum, and were actually defending quite well against Liverpool, but that all quickly changed. What were they doing though to stop Liverpool? Actually, well, they were defending in a 4-4-2 out of possession. And what they're doing was they were letting the back two of Virgil van Dijk and Ibrahim Konate, the two centre backs of Liverpool, have the ball at their feet. Because what they were doing was they were having Xerxes and Hernandez as the front two, kind of a bit like how Hernandez and Mount have been playing the two previous games, and blocking the paths to the two centre midfielders of Ryan Gravenberch and Alexis Mac Allister. And from there, Liverpool have been unable to get the ball to any of the midfield players, but as we know, they do end up unlocking them. So what ends up happening? Well, in the game, and actually Arne said in his post-match interview, Szoboszlai was actually playing in the 10 position, but he's actually drifting more towards the left, which is exactly what he wanted him to do, and which was actually keeping Casemiro honest and keeping him looking over his shoulder, saying where's Szoboszlai at all times. Which that then meant that it was a 2 versus 1 of Kobbie Mainoo in the midfield, because Fernandes was pressing in the 2 with Joshua Zirkzee. And now here is where Man United make the mistake. Here they were perfectly fine in this situation. However, what Bruno Fernandes kept on doing was he became impatient. He ended up pressing Virgil van Dijk on several occasions, and then Van Dijk, with his quality on the ball, all he has to do is he has to find either one of Alexis Mac Allister or Ryan Gravenberch on the ball. And then Joshua Zirkzee realizes that Bruno Fernandes has jumped into the press. That means that he's going to try and mark Gravenberch and also potentially Konate as well, which then leaves Kobbie Mainoo with the decision to make. Does he go for Alexis Mac Allister or does he go for Ryan Gravenberch? And that leaves him in a very difficult position, because his midfield partner Casemiro has to mark Dominic Szoboszlai. And when you have two centre-backs of the quality of Liverpool, this is what they did. They kept on passing the ball into Gravenberch, into Mac Allister, and wasn't just Van Dijk, it was Konate as well, passing into Mac Allister and Gravenberch every time Bruno Fernandes jumped, because he wasn't being patient enough and keeping in that mid-block in that press, which meant that Liverpool were then getting the ball into Gravenberch, and then with his power and his ability on the ball, he was able to then turn Kobbie Mainoo, because he was indecisive, because he was a couple of seconds behind the play, because he was trying to make a decision on who to mark in the Liverpool midfield, and Gravenberch ended up making those runs into the midfield on several occasions. And Casemiro, as we know, isn't the best running back towards his own goal, isn't the quickest, isn't the most hardest working, and that often left Liverpool with a 5v4 against the backline of Manchester United. And actually that Liverpool actually gave Man United a bit of a warning shot with that Trent Alexander-Arnold own goal, and I'll show you exactly how it played out. And here we have it directly above me. Virgil van Dijk is on the ball, and what happens is Bruno Fernandes jumps into the press, which initiates a press for the whole team, because he's leading it, which means that everyone else is forced to go with him as well, or it's going to be a disjointed press and everyone else is going to be left behind. So he goes to press Virgil van Dijk. Virgil van Dijk, with his quality on the ball, is able to find out Ryan Gravenberch, and it also means if you look at the position of Casemiro, right in the middle of the centre circle next to Alexis Mac Allister, he's also decided that he has to go and press Mac Allister, because of the fact that Bruno Fernandes initiated the press and left him completely unmarked, which actually ends up leaving Dominic Szoboszlai free later on in this play. And Gravenberch turns Kobbie Mainoo easily, because he's not touch tied to Gravenberch, and Gravenberch with his touch and power is able to get away from him, and he's able to drive into that Manchester United defence at the heart of it, and he's able to create a chance. And of course this is the one that leads to the Trent Alexander-Arnold goal, which is ruled out for offside. And very early on in the game, you can see that Man United's press just isn't working. 6 Liverpool players versus the back 4 of Man United. And if you look at the centre-backs in the middle, they're completely out of position as well. Both marking Diogo Jota, both completely out of position. And this is just a really early warning sign. And one that really showed that, Liverpool, once they were able to beat the press of Man United, which is very easy to play through because of the quality they have, they were able to get at them way too easily. And we're going to talk about Ryan Gravenberch a little bit more, especially with this next one here, because this is the build-up to the first goal. And I was going to talk about Ryan Gravenberch. I'm going to first talk about Casemiro here, because There's been a lot of talk about him after the game and, being hooked at halftime as well for a youngster coming on. And I think rightly so, because his performances have been poor for a very long time now. And in this game, with a player of his experience and everything that he's won, he should be doing absolutely better. And there's no argument to defend him, if I'm being completely honest. I'm trying to find something to defend Casemiro here, and I honestly can't, because Kobbie Mainoo, if you look at where the ball is going to end up, he's got 3 Liverpool players around him. That is not the pass that he should be making. I mean, if you're trying to chip it to the left-hand side because you've got Dalot and Rashford there against Trent Alexander-Arnold all on his own, or maybe move it over to the right-hand side, Mazraoui on the bottom of your screen is completely naked of space. But that pass to Kobbie Mainoo is not on. He doesn't even want it. I don't know if you can see it, but his right hand is out saying, calm down, slow the play down, because he is nowhere in any shape form want the ball there whatsoever. But credit to Ryan Gravenberch, who is anticipating the play, anticipating the pass, and is there to nick it off Kobbie Mainoo. And this is one thing which I can understand why Arne Slot doesn't favour Wataru Endo in this Liverpool midfield, because of the fact that Ryan Gravenberch, who's played 3 games now in a row in that number 6 position, he's got the potential to be a really good number 6 for Liverpool going forward. One thing that I was really looking forward to seeing in this game was how he's going to cope under pressure, which Man United just absolutely didn't deliver. But what you end up seeing was his qualities going forward, which are accentuated by the fact that Man United were so easy to dispossess off the ball. And Ryan Gravenberch, not only is he able to break a play, make the tackle, win the ball off the opposition, but then he's able to then go forward and create a chance from it, which is what I thought was really, really impressive from him in this game. But if we move it along, as Ryan Gravenberch drives towards that Man United defence, it is another situation where Liverpool are in the ascendancy and have men over on Manchester United. This time it's a 5 versus 3. And like I said with Ryan Gravenberch, his ability to drive with the ball into the heart of the opposition's defence, and the way that this time he's able to pick up the right pass it to Mohamed Salah, and Mo Salah, who's just a world-class player. We'll talk about him as well, because this game he was absolutely phenomenal. He had the freedom of Old Trafford to just run around and do whatever he wanted to, but he's able to look to the back post and find Luis Diaz. And honestly, it is absolutely criminal that there are 2 men free at the back post from Man United, but it's excellent play by Liverpool to dispossess Casemiro on the ball, and then being able to pass it and make it way all the way to the opposition's goal. I will have to say though, Casemiro he shouldn't lose the ball in that situation when you have so few numbers back. And I just don't understand, actually, in the build-up for Erik ten Hag and Man United, why the fullbacks are pushing up so high, because Liverpool are pressing quite high up and trying to win the ball back. And so if Casemiro or one of the centre-backs were to lose the ball, then it leaves them completely exposed in a situation like this. And it's exactly what happens with the next goal as well. Because a player of his experience should realise that the amount of opposition bodies that are around him at this moment when he gets the ball, and he needs to be much, much stronger. It's no way, in any way, shape or form, a foul, and Luis Diaz actually dispossesses him really, really well. But I just don't understand why he isn't hitting that ball long, or I don't know. He just should do better with it. I'm not sure what he's exactly trying to do here. He's trying to dribble through the Liverpool defence, but it's really, really poor. But like I said, look at the amount of bodies that Liverpool have around Casemiro here. Maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So even if you were to take another touch, if it wasn't Luis Diaz to dispossess him, Liverpool have so many bodies in and around him that he's going nowhere with that ball. And as Luis Diaz goes forward, I think Man United actually have a decent amount of bodies back, and it ends up being 3 versus 6. But I think what we're going to see now is just the world-class ability of Mohamed Salah. Because even though Bruno Fernandes gets back to help out Dalot has no idea when Salah is about to play this pass. He's constantly shirking to his left and right, and Dalot has nowhere near Mohamed Salah in this situation, and he's able to play a ball with the outside of his left foot to Luis Diaz on an absolute sixpence, who's able to finish it as well. 2 goals for Luis Diaz in this game, 3 in 3 for him under new manager Arne Slot. So he's going to be crucial for Liverpool going forward. But Mohamed Salah as well. I mean, he makes it look so easy that we're desensitized to actually how much of a world-class player he actually is. I mean, easily top 3 in the Premier League, maybe even first, because of the fact that his goal scoring ability and the ability he has to create chances as well. And Liverpool should absolutely be signing up to a new contract, because he can produce moments like this at will. And then in the second half, Erik ten Hag has to do something, and he decides to change it up by taking off Casemiro and bringing on the youngster Collier, and Kobbie Mainoo ends up becoming the most defensive midfielder of the 3. And I thought that was perfectly fine. I think Casemiro had to be taken off. It was the right decision to make. However, even though you put Kobbie Mainoo in the 6, it doesn't make a difference if you're still going to play the same way and you're going to end up falling into the same trap. Again, Mazraoui plays this pass to Kobbie Mainoo. Where on earth is Kobbie Mainoo even meant to go in this situation? He's got 4 Liverpool players around him, his back facing away from the opposition goal, and all he can do is go backwards, but that pass is blocked off. So he should really just, honestly, just try and hoof it clear, because there's no way that Man United can build up from this way in the way the Liverpool are pressing. And it just, for me, it just showed how Arne completely had Erik ten Hag's number in this game, and obviously Kobbie Mainoo ends up losing this ball. And as Liverpool charge to get another goal, it ends up being a 4-2 in this situation, and Mohamed Salah, of course, because he, like I said, he is world class, ends up converting and makes it 3-0 to Liverpool at Old Trafford. And you know what? Liverpool absolutely deserved it. And one key word for me is control. Liverpool had the control. Man United didn't have the control. I mean, anytime Man United were building up from the back or trying to create something through the build-up and going through from defence to midfield to attack, it was just disjointed and they weren't on the same wavelength. And every time Liverpool did go forward, they posed a massive, massive threat. And I really want to point out what Arne did with the Liverpool midfielders in this one. And the one stat in particular for Gravenberch was the interceptions, more than any other player on the pitch, and actually 4 out of the top 5 interceptions on the pitch on Liverpool and Man United, 4 of them were for Liverpool. And if you think about every time Gravenberch made an interception, it was always an interception in a dangerous area to win the ball and then drive into the Man United defence, and then also to start an attack. I mean, if you think about the times for the goals for both of them and the offside one for Trent Alexander-Arnold as well, Gravenberch, despite the fact that Mo Salah, I think, is world class and got 2 assists, a goal, and his play was remarkable. Luis Diaz got 2 goals in this game as well. For me, Gravenberch was the man of the match. He absolutely showed that he is capable of being a midfielder for Liverpool Football Club. Last season was a little bit ropey. I weren't too convinced by him, but I think this season he's got a massive role to play for Liverpool. And if he can play like this every single game, then what a player and what a steal Liverpool have got on their hands. And if we talk about Man United, because we have to really, I mean, a lot of pressure on Erik ten Hag now. Where does he go from here? Well, I think first and foremost, I think Casemiro, with the game that he had, cannot play the next game, and I think Collier should be coming in. I mean, Man United selling Scott McTominay. Do they have many other options in midfield? Not really. Maybe you can bring Christian Eriksen as well, but yeah, that Man United midfield. I mean, Manuel Ugarte is the obvious one. He has to come into play alongside Kobbie Mainoo. Whether he is fit or not, we'll have to wait and see. And also the big one, the one that got the boo as the substitution was going on, was Garnacho for Diallo. And I think Marcus Rashford is a big talking point in this game. And actually, I want to show you a couple of clips from the Man United perspective going forward, which I thought were encouraging, but there were moments when they were already 3-0 down to Liverpool and it didn't really make much of a difference. But I think going forward, I thought it was going to be a big season for Rashford, and it is, because one way or the other, we're going to find out if he's got it or not anymore. But I think going forward, it's got to be Diallo and Garnacho on the wings. I mean, I think Marcus Rashford was an interesting choice for him to start anyway. But I think going forward, this has got to be the team for Man United. I mean, if you think about the injuries that they have as well, no fit left back with Luke Shaw and Terry Malacia out as well. You think about the fact that, Xerxes had a couple of chances which we'll talk about, and Haaland, if he was there, would he take them as well? Who knows? I think Xerxes' best play is when he's dropping in deep to help in the build-up. Maybe he needs a bit more explosiveness on the wings as well. And I know at the moment, Rashford just isn't doing it. But a lot of questions for Erik ten Hag. But I don't think 3 games in, only 3 points, 1 win at home to Fulham, which also at the time was a bit cagey, not too positive. But I think he'll be given a little bit more time. But there were a couple of encouraging signs going forward, but nothing that I'd really hang your hat on if I were Man United fans. And this is no way in any shape or form a defence of Marcus Rashford or Josh Zirkzee or any of the play that Man United did. But, there actually was 1.36 for a reason. They had a couple of chances, but, I've got to caveat this with, they were already 3-0 down at this point. So to start playing now at this point when Liverpool are taking the foot off the gas is, completely unacceptable. And they should have been doing this from the very first whistle. And even when Liverpool started to get momentum into the game, they should have carried on playing like this, but they didn't. So I'm trying to just give Man United fans a little bit of positivity here, because there were some signs, and this was the first one, because this is a cross by Marcus Rashford, who continuously refused to take on his man. I think he's really lacking confidence, but he still has the quality in him to put in a good ball into the box. And I can see on the far post, it ends up being Josh Zirkzee versus Andy Robertson, and from here, Zirkzee should really be scoring. Pause it here as the ball leaves his head, and when you look at that still, Alisson Becker stranded in the middle of the goal. He makes a fantastic save, and Liverpool are very lucky that they have a goalkeeper with quality in goal. But, Zirkzee should be doing much, much better here. And then when you think about this next one, Rashford, again, this time with Conor Bradley, who come on at right back in place of Alexander-Arnold, and Rashford puts the ball into the back post, and it looks like it's a pretty decent situation for Liverpool. There doesn't look like there's going to be too much of a threat, but Rashford's ball here is exceptional. And honestly, again, Xerxes should do much better. This ball doesn't even hit the target. That's the very minimum that he should be doing, because if he's able to get that to the far post, to Alisson's right-hand side, I think this could end up being a goal as well. But like I said, it was too little, too late at this point, and Liverpool had taken their foot off the gas. But I can just see hints and glimmers of Man United having some decent attacking play. I mean, I'm really clutching at straws here if I'm being honest, but I think maybe when they've got Rasmus Højlund back up front instead of Joshua Zirkzee, it could be, a forward player who could maybe finish a little bit better than Zirkzee. I think Zirkzee does his best play in the build-up rather than in the finishing department. And like I said, I can understand moments where Rashford, can really be brilliant, and he's still got that in him. But I think for his overall play, Man United need to be starting Diallo and Garnacho on the wings, because Diallo, when he came on, like I said, was absolutely fantastic. He showed a lot of energy, he had a lot of urgency, and he's willing to take on and beat a man, which he did on several occasions, and that's something that Man United just didn't have in this game. But at the end of the day, Liverpool dominated Man United when they needed to, and they got the job done very early on. It became very easy for them against Man United, and Man United, there are a lot of worries for you to look forward to in the future as well. So, let me know, how do you think Liverpool are going to do for the rest of the season? 3 wins in a row, 3 clean sheets, lots of goals, second in the league, only just on goal difference. How much encouragement did that performance against Man United give you? And Man United fans, let me know. Are you worried for the games coming up? What do you think of the future of Erik Ten Hag? And what would you change going forward? Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.